Must learn this. Must learn this. Must learn this. Break it down. Stop. Grammar time.
All right, ladies and gents, welcome back to another quick grammar lesson. We're going to take a look at the verb ear and how we can use that with the formula ear plus a plus infinitive to express the near future. So first, just the basics, the verb ear in the simple present. We get the conjugations that look like this in our conjugation box, right? Yo voy, tú vas, él, ella, usted va, nosotros vamos, ellos, ellas, ustedes van. Voy, I go. Vas, you go. Va, he goes or she goes, or you formal go, or any of your other singular third-person subjects here, such as dog, cat, house, etc., etc. Nosotros vamos, we go. Ellos, ellas van, they go, or ustedes van, you all go. So we can note that when we're working with the verb ear, almost always, it's going to be followed by this preposition a, which means to as a translation. And this is the same in English. We almost always throw to after go. As in our examples here, we go to the mountains. I don't say in English, we go to the mountains. We're always going to throw that to in there. It's the same in Spanish. We're going to throw that a in there. Nosotros vamos a las montañas. Or in this example, do you go to the beach every day? Vas a la playa todos los días. Again, so keep that in mind. Now, because we're going to be working with this preposition a lot with going places, nouns, we're going to get a lot of examples where we're going to run into this a and then an L next to it in our sentences. And so we do need to talk about this contraction that happens here. This is a rule that is very good for you to know. This just makes spoken Spanish more fluent, and this is why we do this in the Spanish language. There are two common ones, so we'll go ahead and look at both of them while we're looking at it, but this is the one we'll use the most. Al becomes al. It's still the same thing. It means to the. We've just contracted. It's very similar to a contraction in English. Cannot becomes can't, right? Or will not becomes won't, etc. The other one that you'll want to know is del. Again, with working with ear here, we're not going to use it as much, but this one will come up as well. It's pretty common. Del becomes del. Of the. This still just means of the, just contracting. So let's look at an example. Después del centro comercial voy al gimnasio. So both contractions here in this example. After of the mall, or after the mall, I go to the gym. All right, so keep that in mind. So let's take a minute to pause the video and do some practice here using just the standard ear in the present tense with locations. If you notice, all of these are locations: to the gym, to the beach, to the pool. And then we'll get into the near future after that. Okay, so hopefully you came up with these as an answer. Again, don't forget to use those contractions when needed. That is just for that masculine singular definite article L. So if you notice, I did not contract this one here in the second sentence because it's not an L here. We can't say a, el, and al. This is playa. It's feminine, and so this la is just going to stay where it's at. Same in this case here. All right, so that's the verb ear working with the standard present tense, yo voy, I go, to a place, right? To the gym or to the beach or to the pool. But now let's talk about how we can use the verb ear to express the near future. We call this the near future, or sometimes it's also referred to as the simple future. And this is basically translating into what somebody is going to do soon, maybe in the next 30 minutes, maybe in the next 24 hours, maybe in the next week. It's the near future, not something that's going to happen way out in the future. There is a true future that we'll look at later. This is kind of that going to do equivalent in English. Let's take a look at how that works. Here's an example. He is going to run, right? He's not running right now in the present. He's going to run in the future, maybe after school today or whatever. Okay, so what we've used here to create the sentence is the verb go. He is going, and it's conjugated. Then we're going to use that preposition I was telling you about, almost always. And then we're going to put an infinitive verb behind that, run. Okay, let's see what this looks like in Spanish. Él va a correr. It's the same setup. Ir conjugated. Here's our verb ir conjugated for el, he goes. It can also mean he is going, okay? So it's kind of got a flexible translation there. He goes or he is going to, and then again an infinitive verb, run. Again, we call this the near future, and here's the formula as it's written out in its basic form. Ir plus a plus infinitive verb. So go ahead and pause the video and take a minute to try these out, and we'll come back together and check them out. So hopefully enough time to put that together, and this is what you should have come up with. Nosotros vamos a nadar. Again, we can leave, as I've discussed in previous videos, this nosotros out if we wanted to, because vamos already indicates that we're talking about we. That is the only subject that can be in that form of conjugation. So nosotros vamos a nadar, or you could have just said vamos a nadar. That is also correct. In the second one, we do need to leave this in here. Ellos van a bailar. Yo voy a estudiar. Could have left the yo out if I wanted to. And ella va al parque. This needs to be in here because we could have several subjects in va. This could have been he goes or she goes or the dog goes, so we do need to be specific here. And notice I use that contraction, that al becomes al there. She goes to the... All right, and then the final note I'd like to make here is that if you notice, 3 of these 4 were actually the near future, which is what we've been talking about. But I did slip in one standard one there, just using the present tense, going to a location versus doing an action in the future. So take a minute to see if you can spot 1, 2, 3, or 4 that is not using the future tense. If you said ella va al parque, you are correct. This one is not using a going to do something, but rather going to a place. She goes to the park. That is something she's doing now versus the rest of these. I am going to study in the near future. They are going to dance in the near future, or we are going to swim in the near future. The difference is that we're using a noun, a place, versus a verb, an action. All right, that's it for today's video. That was ir and ir plus a plus infinitive. I hope it all made sense. And if you found value in this video today, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Ciao.